Wow, man, like where to start? I followed your story. There's so many lessons, and that's what I want people to try to take away, the things you learned along the way and how certain things happened. But it feels like you lived many different lives, like 6 different incarnations, really.
I've used up all my 9 lives, I think.
Yeah, I mean, before we jump into it, do you ever wonder what made you kind of do these crazy things? Because it's not a normal person that pursues all of these things. Have you ever said, like, did I get hit on my head as a baby? Or, do you have a weird personality that likes to push the envelope? Because so many intense situations, I mean, you basically put yourself into and kept into those things.
I've absolutely no excuses to fall back on. I take full responsibility for my insane behavior. Came from a loving family, good upbringing, good education, business studies degree, made all this money in the stock market. What I had, or what I lacked, was emotional maturity and common sense. I'm in my 20s. I've come from a little town, a chemical manufacturing town, and now I'm the man in Arizona, throwing raves up to 10,000 people, and it just becomes one big ego trip.
Wow, but you were always driven. You always wanted more somehow.
Yeah, I'm an extreme workaholic.
Where did that come from?
When I was a kid, I showed an aptitude for economics, and my teacher, Mr. Dillon, would give me classes on my own, and he'd explain all the numbers in the Financial Times. I was only 14. And when I was 16, I was confident enough to make my first investment. Borrowed £50 off my nan, invested it in British Telecom. It doubled right away. That was when Maggie Thatcher was privatising everything. So I'm telling everyone in my hometown then, I'm going to go to America, make $1 million, fly you guys over. And that's what I eventually did. Flew all my mates over to Arizona.
Wow. And why Arizona? Why go there to be a stockbroker? Why not the city of London? Why not Wall Street?
Because as a kid, I would visit my aunts in Arizona. And coming from the Northwest, it's quite cold and rainy. And Arizona, the planes coming into land. You see all the swimming pools in people's backyards. The sun's always out. They hear the English accent. They roll out the red carpet. And when I was 16, my aunt, she changed my date of birth in my passport, so I was 21, took me out nightclubbing, and she's introduced me to all these American women as Paul McCartney's nephew.
Oh my God.
So I'm thinking, I want some of this when I finish university, and that's what I did.
Wow. All right. So that was the oasis for you. You knew people there.
Yeah.
For you, that was the dream.
That was the American dream.
Okay. Now, there's not a lot of stockbroking places in Arizona last time I checked. How did you find one, and how did that happen?
So I wanted to be an investment analyst, and I did originally apply to places in London. It didn't go anywhere. I like crunching the numbers and looking at the charts and all that kind of stuff and doing the research. But when I got to Arizona in 91, because there is a lot of money in Phoenix and Sun City, big retirement community in Sun City. I don't know how it is now, but there were a lot of stock brokerage outfits in Central Phoenix, handling those clients' money. And it sounds fancy to people, stockbroker, but if you've watched Wolf of Wall Street, you know it's just glorified telesales. I had to call 500 numbers a day. And I was in an outfit that was just like Wolf of Wall Street. We had 24-foot curly cords. Pacing brokers make more sales. We had mirrors. Smile and dial, you will make more sales. We had these business meetings where you're only as big as your numbers are on this board for the month. If you're calling your wife, if you're calling your girlfriend, you're losing sales. Lunch is for wimps. If you're out at lunch, other brokers are calling your clients. It was proper drill sergeant mentality.
I love it. I love these guys.
I'm fresh out of uni.
Okay.
They put me on this quad called the criminal quad, not with the rookies, hardest core looking people. One of them was an ex-Vietnam vet, and he would just have flashbacks and start kung fu kicking the area around him. Another one, top salesman, he had like a bottle of vodka in his briefcase at all times, hardcore alcoholic. And another one had just got out of prison, and he was telling his clients he'd been in hospital for 2 years fighting cancer, and he was calling people from lists of people who'd had cancer.
Wow.
So these guys were called the criminal quad, and I'm just in there, this shy, fresh out of uni person, and these guys absolutely schooled me on all of the sales techniques. So in the beginning, it's commission only. I've only got my student credit card to live off. I'm worried I'm gonna have to come home, down to living off cheese on toast and bananas. But 5 years in, I was grossing $500,000 a year. Got my own staff secretary, but that's at the point then where I'm thinking, do I wanna be in the rat race? Gotta be in the office for the 6 o'clock in the morning sales meeting, or start making money from the party scene, and greed and ego took over.
Okay, so 6 a.m. because Wall Street opens at 9:30, so you're
Exactly.
in early. Were
Yeah.
these guys ex-Wall Street or somewhere in California to yell all that stuff? I mean, this bucket shop must have had some experience.
So there was a lot of regional brokerages, and they had head offices in Florida, Colorado, and I kind of like worked my way out of the lowest level bucket shop to more of a respectable regional brokerage by the end of it.
Okay.
That cleared through Bear Stearns.
Okay.
Were you involved with Bear Stearns back then?
I mean, yeah, I did business with Bear Stearns as like a counterparty. So until they went bankrupt, right, in 2008 or something, right?
Yeah.
But those guys are pretty hardcore as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so you're doing that, you're working the phones, but you're making good money. You invested some of that in tech stocks.
Yes.
So you got that million in your early 20s then, right?
Yeah. Well, no, sorry, late 20s. My
Late
goal
20s.
was, I watched Wall Street. I'm going to be a millionaire by the time I'm 30. So that's what I did.
That's what Bud Fox says, right?
Yeah.
I want to be a millionaire by the time I'm 30.
Yeah.
Such a great movie, man. I try to watch it as often as I can.
Greed is good.
It was good.